guys, so today I'm really excited because we are going to be talking about all of my super anticipated releases for October of 2021. Of course, as always, this is not like a cumulative list. This is not everything coming out. These are just the books that I saw, that I think sound really cool, that I'm excited about. Of course, there might be more books. I might not like some of these, but you know what? They sound really cool. That's literally all I know about these, is they have cool sounding synopsis. So, take everything with a grain of salt. I'm going to be talking about these like 17 books I think I have pretty quickly because, like I said, all I really know is the synopsis and pretty covers. So we're just going to go through all the books that I'm really excited about for October of 2020. First, of course, we have Extraordinary by V.E. Schwab. I have already pre-ordered, I think, the Illumicrate edition of this. This is a graphic novel that I believe takes place between Vicious and Vengeful. If y'all don't know, the Villains series is my favorite V.E. Schwab. I love V.E. Schwab. I love all of her books, so it's really hard to say that I have a favorite, but like I'm pretty sure Vicious is my favorite book of hers. And I really liked Vengeful, and like I'm really excited for when she releases a third one. And I'm very excited for this graphic novel. Like something in that world, like even if we don't have Victor and Eli, I'm here for. And that comes out on October 1st, in case you're interested. This next one also comes out on October 1st, and it is The Goddess of Nothing at All. And it is by Kat Rector. I have never heard of this. I happened to like come across it on Goodreads, and I'm like, whoa, this cover is really cool. Like the little synopsis blurb sounded really interesting, so sign me up. So I added it to my list. The description says, perhaps you know the myths. Furious benevolent gods, a tree that binds 9 realms, a hammer stronger than any weapon, and someday the end of everything. But few have heard of me. Looking back, it's easy to know what choices I might have made differently. At least, it feels that way. I might have given up my title, told my father he was useless, king of gods or no, and left Asgard. Made a life somewhere else. Maybe I would have never let Loki cross my path. Never have fallen in love. But there's no going back. We were happy once, and the price for that happiness was the end of everything. Okay, like Loki, Thor, like that just sounds so good, right? Like that is probably one of the best written synopsises I've heard in a while, because it's not like the book is about this. It really just like kind of sucks you in and you're like, whoa, what's going on? So I'm very excited for this one. The next one comes out on the 5th of October, and that is A Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan. This, of course, is a middle grade fantasy by Uncle Rick, and this is like basically a retelling of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, only for middle grade. How adorable is that? This is going to be so cute. It's about this like school that takes place, it's like a 5-year high school, and we're following a freshman, and it like takes place like underwater, and I'm here for it. It just sounds super cute, and I'm here for Uncle Rick. The next one is also October 1st, and this one is The Lighthouse Witches by C.J. Cook. I have never heard of this one before. I haven't heard anyone talk about this either, but this one is 2 sisters go missing on a remote Scottish island. 20 years later, one is found, but she is still the same age as when she disappeared. The secrets of witches have reached across the centuries in this chilling gothic thriller from author of the acclaimed The Nest. And it says, when single mother Liv is commissioned to paint a mural in a 100-year-old lighthouse on a remote Scottish island, it's an opportunity to start over with her 3 daughters. When 2 of her daughters goes missing, she's frantic. She learns the cave beneath the lighthouse was once a prison for women accused of witchcraft. The locals warn her about wildlings, supernatural beings who can mimic human children, created by witches for revenge. Liv is told the wildlings are dangerous and must be killed. 22 years later, Luna has been searching for her missing sisters and mother. When she receives a call about her youngest sister, Clover, she's initially ecstatic. Clover is the sister she remembers, except she is still 7 years old. The age she was when she vanished. Luna is worried Clover is a wildling. Luna has few memories of her time on the island, but she'll have to return to find the truth of what happened to her family. But she doesn't realize just how much the truth will change her. Like, I don't even know what else to say about these. These all sound so good. Like, that just sounds super cool, right? Like, it just, very witchy. There's a lot of witchy books on for this one. The next one is a Spindle Splintered by Alexi Haro, and I have actually already read this. I just wanted to include it because I thought it was great. This is a novella that is a retelling of the like Sleeping Beauty mythos, and it is so good. I absolutely loved it. I got a NetGalley copy of it, so go pick it up for sure. That comes out on October 5th. The next one is the Dragon Blood Ring, and this is by Amparo Ortiz, and this is the sequel to Blaze Wrath Games. And I won't really talk about like the synopsis of this because obviously it is a sequel, but I really liked Blaze Wrath Games. Was it my favorite? No. Was it good? Yes. And we follow these kids from Puerto Rico and they ride dragons in this like game that's kind of like the Olympics, and it's like Quidditch on dragons. And then we follow our one main character, Lana, who is on the team, but she's the only like non-dragon rider. She's the runner. So it's like they get caught up in like this like political plot, and it's really, really good. And I'm really hoping that book 2 kind of elevates it, because I did have quite a few issues with book 1, but I still really liked it and want to see what happens next. And that comes out on October 12th. The next book is also October 5th, so very popular date for books, and that is When Night Breaks by Janella Angeles. And this is the sequel to Where Dreams Descend, which y'all have probably heard me rave about a million different times. I absolutely loved Where Dreams Descend. It is a like circusy book with magic and stage magic, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite books of last year. And I'm just so excited to see how this ends. I actually pre-ordered the Owl Crate special edition of it, and I have the NetGalley arc for this, so I'll be reading it soon. The next book that I'm very excited about is Any Sign of Life by Rae Carson. This is a new series by the same author that did Girl of Fire and Thorns, which I absolutely loved the first book in that series. I still need to continue on, but I really, really liked it. So I'm really excited to see, you know, what other writing this person has in store. And this one sounds really cool. It says that it is a harrowing and pulse-pounding survival story set in the near future Midwest with a cosmic twist. A teenage girl thinks she may be the only person left alive in her town, maybe in the whole world. She must rely on hope, trust, and her own resilience. A must-have for readers of Rick Yancey's The Fifth Wave and Neil Shusterman's Dry. This sounds so cool. It's post-apocalyptic, like end of the world, lone survivor. Sounds fantastic. Perfect for like the fall, right? And if I didn't say, that also comes out on October 12th. The next book also comes out on October 12th, and that is Jade Fire Gold by June C.L. Tran. Again, I think we're getting this one in a book box, but I'm not super sure. But I think so, and I'm very, very excited about it. It's, some of the comps that they put up for it is Girl of Paper and Fire meets Tiger at Midnight. And I haven't read Tiger at Midnight. I really, really love Girl of Paper and Fire. So it is a stunning debut inspired by Chinese mythology with rich magic and an epic slow burn romance. It's in an empire on the brink of war. An has no one, no past and no family. Altan is lost heir. His future stolen away as a child. Like, that just sounds so cool. When they meet, Altan sees in An a path to reclaim the throne. An sees a way to finally unlock her past and understand her arcane magical abilities. But they may have to pay a far deadlier price than either could have imagined. Sounds so good. The next is another October 12th book release, and that is Keeper of the Night by Kylie Lee Baker. This one sounds really cool as well. It says, death is her destiny. Half British Reaper, half Japanese Shingami, Ren has been collecting souls in the London streets for centuries. Expected to obey the harsh hierarchy of the Reapers who despise her, Ren conceals her emotions and avoids tremors as best as she can. When her failure to control her Shingami abilities drives her out of London, she flees to Japan to seek the acceptance she's never gotten from her fellow Reapers. Accompanied by her younger brother, the only being on Earth to care for her, Ren enters the Japanese underworld to serve the goddess of death, only to learn that here, too, she must prove herself worthy. Determined to earn respect, Ren accepts an impossible task. Find and eliminate 3 dangerous Yoko demons and learns how far she'll go to claim her place at death's side. I mean, next, yes, please, thank you. The next one is also out on October 12th, and that is The Gilded Cage by Lynette Nani. This is the sequel to The Prison Healer, and I absolutely loved The Prison Healer earlier this year. I have already pre-ordered this book as a Fairy Loot special edition to match my Fairy Loot edition of The Prison Healer. I loved it. I'm still trying to get my hands on the ARC. But obviously, it's a little late now, but I really tried to get the ARC. Come on, y'all. But The Prison Healer is fantastic. I have a full review for book 1 if you want to check that out. Look at it, look up and, you know, look into it and then see if you want to read the sequel because it's about to come out. And then I'm pretty sure the 3rd book in the trilogy comes out like early next year. Like, these are being pumped out quick. The next one that I'm really excited about, I actually do have an ARC for and I'm about to start reading, and that is Shade by Chad Nicholas. This comes out on October 15th, and this is actually a self-published book, and I'm so excited. It says, all they had to do was catch him. At first, it was just another case, just another serial killer to stop. They had done it countless times before. This time shouldn't have been any different. But soon, days turned to weeks. Desperation set in and the victims started getting younger. What were they missing? Why couldn't they save the victim? They would have given their own lives to stop the monster, to finally put an end to this killing spree. In the end, they almost succeed. But then, 8 months ago, everything went wrong. From the aftermath of one monster, a new is born. A killer more lethal than they could have possibly imagined, like something ripped straight out of the worst nightmare. With it comes a potential victim struggling with the skeletons in her own closet and the guilt of past mistakes. The longer she waits for the new monster to find her, to kill her, the more she questions if, deep down, she wants him to. The desperate hunt for a serial killer, an ex-hunter losing his grip on reality, and a victim who's not sure she's worth saving come together as past and present intertwine in this explosive psychological thriller that begs the question, can you stop a monster without becoming one? That sounds so good. And Chad is like super, super nice, so I'm really, really excited to read the ARC and then let y'all know what I think, but it sounds so good. All right, the next one comes out on October 19th, and this is The Color of Dragons. This is by dual authors. This is R.A. Salvatore and Erica Lewis. Erica Lewis is a debut author, and R.A. Salvatore is a classic fantasy, like, well-known author. So I'm very, very excited about this. It is a sweeping, action-packed, romantic pre-Arthurian tale on the origins of magic in Merlin by powerhouse adult fantasy author R.A. Salvatore and Erica Lewis, which is perfect for fans of Fallen Kingdoms and Seraphina. Pre-Arthurian, it's kind of a romance, magic origins, like, it sounds so good. Next up on October 19th, we also have The Dark Infinity, and this is by Kate Pentecost. This is by night, Enku is a legendary, permanently young mercenary. By day, the witch's curse leaves him no more than bones, caught in an unending cycle of death and resurrection. The Anku wants only to find death that has been prophesied for him, especially once he begins to rot while he's still alive. After the kingdom of Kaer East is sacked, Flora, a loyal handmaiden to the princess, is assaulted and left for dead. As the sole survivor of the massacre, she wants desperately to find the princess who she served. When the Anku agrees to help her find the princess and train her in exchange for her helping breaking his curse, she accepts it. But how can she kill an immortal, especially one whom she is slowly growing to understand and maybe even love? Together they will solve mysteries, battle monsters, break curses, and race not only against time, but against fate itself. Also out on October 19th, we have Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. And this one says, once upon a time, there was a horrible girl. Vanya knows no gift is truly freely given, not even a mother's love. And she's on the hook for one hell of a debt. Vanya, the adopted goddaughter of Death and Fortune, was Princess Giselle's dutiful servant up until a year ago. That was when Vanya's otherworldly mothers demanded a terrible price for their care, and she decided to steal her future back by stealing Giselle's life for herself. The real Giselle is left a penniless nobody, while Vanya uses an enchanted string of pearls to take her place. Now, Vanya leads a lonely but lucrative double life as a princess and jewel thief, charming nobility while emptying their coffers to fund her great escape. Then, one heist away from freedom, she crosses the wrong god and is cursed to an untimely end, turning into jewels stone by stone for her greed. She has just 2 weeks to figure out how to break her curse and make her getaway. And with a feral guardian half-god, Giselle's sinister fiance, and an over-eager junior detective on Vanya's tail, she'll have to pull the biggest grift yet to save her own life. I mean, that sounds really different, and it kind of sounds like we're following the villain, so I love that. Next one is out on October 26th, and that is The Grim Rose Girls by Laura Polk. This one says it is the Descendants meets Pretty Little Liars. For troubled friends, one murdered girl, and a dark fate that may leave them all doomed. After the mysterious death of their best friend, Ella, Yukai, and Rory are the talk of their elite school, Grim Rose Academy. The police ruled it a suicide, but the trio are determined to find out what really happened. When Nani arrives as their newest roommate, it sets into motion a series of events they could not have imagined. As the girls retrace their friends' last steps, they uncover dark secrets about themselves and their destinies. Discovered they are all cursed to repeat the brutal and gruesome endings to their stories until they can break the cycle. This contemporary take on classic fairy tales reimagines heroines as friends attending the same school. While investigating the murder of their best friend, they uncover connections to their ancient fairy tale curses and attempts to forge their own fate before it's too late. That sounds good. I know they just compare that to like The Descendants and Pretty Little Liars, but it sounds like Once Upon a Time to me. I'm here for it. And the final book that I'm really excited about that comes out at the end of October, October 28th, is Midnight in Everwood, and this is by M.A. Kuznar. I didn't hear anything about this up until recently, and it's a Nutcracker retelling. I've never read a Nutcracker retelling, but I'm here for it. This says that it is a spell-binding retelling of the Nutcracker, filled with enchanted toys, decadent balls, fierce feminine friendships, and forbidden romance. For fans of the Toymakers, Caraval, and Baron the Nightingale. That's all I really need to know. Like, the rest of it is like a really long synopsis, and that's all I need to know. It sounds fantastic. All right, well, thank you guys for hanging out with me. This was really fun. I do this every month, talking about all the books that come out that sound really cool, that I'm excited about. Obviously, this does not mean I'm going to read all of these books, at least not right away. They sound really cool, and I'm excited to read them at some point, and I thought maybe you'd be excited to read them too. All right, let me know which one of these books sounds the most exciting to you, or if you've read any of these, have any of these on pre-order. Just let me know. We'll have a talk down in the comments. All right, I'm Jessie. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will talk to you next time. Bye.